Hi, everybody, and welcome to English Digest. I'm Pat.
And I'm Erin.
So today's article, the first one of the month, is all about a K-pop band, one of the biggest K-pop bands. Have you been to Korea, South Korea?
I have. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
I didn't really pay attention to the music while I was there.
Okay.
I guess.
Well, in lack of that, in absence of that, what can you tell me about South Korea? Because I've never been.
Well, there's a lot of shopping to do.
Okay.
And some very delicious food.
Right.
I had a very delicious meal called galbi, which is meat wrapped in lettuce and covered in sauce and has some delicious dishes that go on the side, like kimchi. And
there are a lot of side dishes in. Whenever I go to a Korean restaurant, they always bring across that tray, and you can pick like 3 or 4 side dishes. It seems to be something that you get less with other cuisines, but this, for Korean, it seems to be a thing.
Yeah, and it's great, too, because they are all the vegetables that I would probably never choose.
And they're the ones I want to choose, because that's the stuff I eat. Okay, well, we're not going to talk about Korean food, maybe another time for that article. We're going to talk about a band today. Let's read through the article and find out who they are.
The air is filled with the screams of excited fans as bright lights illuminate the silhouettes of 5 performers. Smoke billows around the figures as one of the artists starts crooning to the thousands of K-pop lovers in the audience. His voice is soon joined by those of his trendy, leather-clad bandmates. This is BIGBANG, a South Korean hip-hop and R&B group and an iconic presence in the nation's music industry. The band first appeared on the scene in mid-2006, not with an album, but with a TV documentary, which chronicled the creation of the group. The documentary, called BIGBANG Documentary, gave an inside look at the lives and personalities of the group's 5 performers, G-Dragon, T.O.P., Taeyang, Dashun, and Shunli, who are managed by the South Korean music giant YG Entertainment. After its show had wrapped, BIGBANG gained immediate success with its first full-length album since 2007, released on December 21st, 2006. A year later, the group continued to rock the K-pop world with its first mini-album, Always, featuring the lead single Lies, which became its first #1 hit. Thus far, BIGBANG has produced 3 Korean studio albums, 2 of which appeared on the Billboard 200. It achieved a spot on the chart with its most recent album, Made, released on December 12, 2016. Made's songs exemplify the band's broad musical styles, featuring playful, futuristic hip-hop on Baby, as well as stunning, emotive tracks such as Let's Not Fall in Love and Last Dance. These days, big changes lie ahead for the band. The oldest member of the group, T.O.P., has enlisted in South Korea's mandatory military service this year, while some of the other members have launched solo projects. However, BIGBANG's catchy, crowd-pleasing songs have earned it a large following that will not soon forget its legacy.
Okay, so that is our article. I feel as though I've had my eyes open to the world of K-pop music. BIGBANG in particular. I love how it's all caps. It feels like they're shouting the name of the band for everyone to enjoy.
That's what happens when you write your words in all capital letters. It seems like shouting, and I think that's I think that's a good idea for this name, Big Bang.
It makes it sound nice and big and exciting and powerful.
Yeah.
And another adjective that we're using to describe them in the title is the word booming. Now, something that is booming is growing extremely fast and successfully. We talk about when gold is discovered in a town and everybody starts coming to the town, that town is then booming.
Right.
Your business could be booming if you're selling a lot of things. Your restaurant could be booming if you're getting lots of customers and things like that. So here, the Big Bang is booming. It's selling more albums. It's getting more fans. It's doing more shows and concerts and other things like that.
Yeah, it's another way of maybe saying that they're popular.
Yes.
Yes. All right, so let's get into the article here. We'll start with our first sentence, which says, "The air is filled with the screams of excited fans as bright lights illuminate the silhouettes of 5 performers." All right, so we're setting the scene here, what it would be like at a Big Bang concert. And we see that they have bright lights illuminating the silhouettes of 5 performers. Now, this verb, illuminate, means to make a light shine on something. Okay, so they're illuminating the 5 performers, but we're not really seeing the 5 performers quite yet because we're seeing the silhouettes.
Silhouettes, exactly. The silhouette is the shape of something with a light behind it. Now, don't confuse it with the word shadow, which is the shape that is cast when the light doesn't reach a surface. This is actually the shape of something against a light. You can try it yourself. If you hold up your finger so it's between you and the light, you will see the silhouette of your finger. It's like the shape or the black outline, and it's a thick block. You don't see any details in it. It's just a dark shape against the moon or something like that, for example.
Okay, so we've got these 5 figures here. We can't really see who they are. And then to continue setting the scene, it says, "Smoke billows around the figures as one of the artists starts crooning to the thousands of K-pop lovers in the audience." So lots of people here. And we've got some billowing smoke. The smoke billows. When something billows, such as smoke or steam, it rises. It kind of moves up into clouds and
it kind of flows out of something and also around something.
Right.
We really only use it to talk about smoke, steam, gas, things like that.
Right.
But if you had a building on fire, then smoke would billow out of the windows. Imagine how the smoke is behaving. It's kind of pouring out of there, sort of spinning around and rushing up as it does so. Okay, so you can see this smoke from the smoke machine, so it's billowing around them, kind of almost wrapping around their legs and stuff. And then one of the artists, these singers, performers, starts crooning. Okay, to croon is a verb and it means to sing in a low, soft voice. And we especially use this when we're singing about love or similar kinds of subjects, kind of friendship, affection, that kind of thing. You could croon a lullaby, for example, to a baby if you wanted to put it to sleep. It's that kind of soft, low voice. So you can imagine some singers crooning these love songs. In fact, the word crooner is sometimes used to describe a singer with that kind of smooth, low voice when he starts singing about, girls he loves.
And a lot of K-pop, in my experience, is about love.
Yeah.
So that works quite well.
But a lot of any pop is basically about it. It's a pretty much the only subject for pop music. There are maybe one or two others, but it's basically love.
About love.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there's lots of people in the crowd. It says thousands of K-pop lovers in the audience, obviously here to see their favorite band. And then it says his voice is soon joined by those of his trendy leather-clad bandmates. So a couple of words to look at here. First, let's look at our adjective trendy. So trendy means that something's cool, or it's been influenced by what's the latest fashion. So we have trendy clothes that you'll see in magazines that are popular.
Yeah, trendy hairstyles, which a lot of people seem to have.
Right.
That kind of thing. You know, right now, I have noticed over the last couple of years, beards have become
Quite
trendy.
trendy, yes.
Yeah, they used to be something that wasn't so popular maybe 10 years ago, but in the last few years, it's become trendy for a guy to have a beard.
That's true. And they're also leather-clad.
Oh.
When we use the hyphen with clad here, it means that someone's wearing something. So here it says they're wearing leather. Leather, of course, is the material that is from a cow's skin. So when the cow dies, you take the skin and you work it into leather.
Yeah, you do various things to it. And so they're all wearing leather jackets, maybe leather pants, leather gloves, and other bits and bobs. And these are his bandmates. Okay, this is all one word, and it's the people who are in a band together. They are bandmates in the same way as we'd say classmates for people in the same class. So this is Big Bang, a South Korean hip-hop and R&B group. Big Bang are also an iconic presence in the nation's music industry. The word iconic is relating to an icon or an idol, someone or something that is both a representative symbol of another thing and worthy of praise and perhaps even worship. So this band, what we're saying, this band, not only are they really popular, really famous, and one of the most kind of worshipped bands in Korea, but they are also a really good symbol of everything that is K-pop. They really represent, if you think of K-pop, you should think, Big Bang. That's what K-pop is.
Right.
We could also talk about a speech, the speech in Hamlet, the to be or not to be speech. That is an iconic moment in that play. It represents a lot of what Shakespeare wanted to say, and it's also one of the most famous and appreciated speeches in all of Shakespeare.
Right. So, to put it a little bit easier, something, it's just well-known or famous.
Yeah, well-known and famous.
Because it represents an idea of something.
That's right.
Right. Okay, well, let's get into the next paragraph. It says, the band first appeared on the scene in mid-2006, not with an album, but with a TV documentary, which chronicled the creation of the group. So it says they first appeared on the scene. So here, scene would be the K-pop scene. So it's describing a particular area of interest, such as the music scene or the art scene or the sports scene, I guess. The baseball scene.
Just kind of whichever group. It's a combination of the people and the events and everything that's going on with that particular topic or area of interest.
Right.
So they appeared on the music scene, which meant that they're kind of in the public eye. They're musicians who are playing in public, selling their albums, and people know about them. But they didn't do it by releasing an album, which is normally how musicians start things off. They would release a single, maybe an album or a music video. These guys did it with a TV documentary. So a documentary is a TV show about real things. Nothing's made up. It's basically telling the story of what is really happening. So it's talking about how this band got together, who they are, where they came from, how they trained together and maybe went through the process of choosing the 5 members for the band. Right. Other documentaries could be about particular interests of, news topics around the world. Environmental documentaries talk about nature. Science documentaries might detail new discoveries. Whatever it is, it's real. Nothing is made up.
All right. Well, Pat talked a little bit about this process where it says which chronicled the creation of the group. Chronicle here is a verb, and it means to record a record or make a record of events in the
order that they happened, really.
So we start at the beginning and we work our way forward. So how did they find the people to be in the group? How did they choose them?
Who's going to write the songs? That sort of thing. We're going to find out a little bit more about that documentary in just a few moments, but right now we're going to take a short break. Okay, welcome back, everybody. We're talking about the documentary which introduced the group Big Bang to the world. This was people's first look at them. And we learned that the documentary, called Big Bang Documentary, this documentary gave an inside look at the lives and personalities of the group's 5 performers. An inside look is kind of a behind-the-scenes look. It's a look at what the producers see. It's what happens backstage. It's that sort of thing.
It's the interesting stuff that we never really get to see.
Yeah, not just their music videos and their performances. We're looking at what really happens.
Right.
So we learn about their lives and their personalities. So what they're really like. You know, what's your personality? Are you shy? Are you outgoing? You know, do you prefer to be alone? Are you a friendly person who likes being with a group? Are you self-confident? And so on. All of those are aspects of your personality.
Right. And I assume in K-pop that's a really important thing. I do see a lot of K-pop bios or biographies about performers, and they always list what the person is like. They mention parts of their personality, maybe because they want their fans to sort of connect with them.
Yeah, feel like
more.
They know them and kind of get interested in them. I guess a lot of musicians keep some of their real personalities away from their public.
They try to.
They've got a kind of a public personality and then their private one.
Right.
Here, maybe it's more important for the kids to get to know who these people really are.
Right. Okay. Well, who are they? They are G-Dragon, T.O.P., Taeyang, Dashin, and Shunli. Hopefully I said all those correctly. And they're managed by South Korean music giant YG Entertainment. So we've mentioned our 5 performers, who they are, what is in this documentary about them. Now we're talking about this music giant, YG Entertainment. In this case, giant is a noun, and it sort of talks about a very large and successful company. So this is a very large and successful entertainment company. They would find entertainers, represent these entertainers, get them shows, movies,
producers, manage the whole thing, really.
Right.
Okay, so the article goes on and says, after its show had wrapped, Big Bang gained immediate success with its first full-length album since 2007, released on December 21st, 2006. Now, normally we use the verb wrap to talk about like wrapping up a present or wrapping yourself up in something warm. Here, wrap is used in a very specific film and TV-related way. When you wrap a production, you finish it. Everything's done, all the filming is done, all the recording is done. They're still going to maybe edit it and put it together and do some post-production, but basically all the filming part of it has been completed.
Right.
And I believe it's the word wrap. Does it have something to do with like wrapping the actual physical film up in a can?
Yes. Well, back when people used
real physical photo film, not digital stuff.
People still do, but it's very uncommon these days as it's expensive. They had to wrap the film up in the can and very carefully bring it to the office where they edit it, because if it gets destroyed, then they've lost a lot of money.
Yeah,
and
so like a few other things, even though the technology is no longer used so much, the kind of slang still exists and is still used. So you wrap shooting on a movie or a TV show. You have a wrap party, which is when everybody has a big party after the filming is finished. So we still use that, even though physical film has kind of has become a thing of the past.
Right. Okay, well, let's continue on with the article. It says, a year later, the group continued to rock the K-pop world with its first mini album, Always, featuring the lead single Lies, which became its first #1 hit. Now, this is an interesting thing that I've noticed has been happening, is that bands have been putting out mini albums.
Yeah, or EPs, I guess is another way we could say it. EP is extended play.
Right.
Which is usually about 4 to 8 songs long.
Yes.
Whereas an LP or full-length album, as we used in the previous sentence, is maybe 12 songs or 10 or 15, something around that. So we're talking a much shorter album. But that's often quite good, because then musicians won't be tempted to put filler tracks on there. Songs which are like, they're okay, but it's not our best work. If you do a mini album, you can make sure every song is a really good one.
Right, you get the best songs on the mini albums. All right, and one of the best songs on this mini album always was the lead single. So a lead single is usually the first single to be released from an album. So that's the first sign anyone will have about this new album, maybe what it's going to sound like. It'll be the first song that goes on the radio. It's usually, it comes before the album to get people excited about the album.
Yes. Katy Perry, for example, recently, she's got an album which I think is in the summer, but earlier in February, she released Chain to the Rhythm. That's the lead single. Lead is kind of the thing that comes first, and single just means a single song.
Right.
So together, lead single is the first song, the song that leads all the others on the album. And it was a hit. A hit is another piece of kind of music and entertainment slang or a phrase, idiom, not really a phrase, only one word. But a hit is something that is successful. It sells many copies. It makes a lot of money. It's extremely popular.
Right. Okay, so thus far, Big Bang has produced 3 Korean studio albums, 2 of which appeared on the Billboard 200. The Billboard 200, of course, being a list of music, the most popular 200 songs of the time.
Of the week, of the month, the whatever it happens to be.
So 2 of these 3 albums appeared on the Billboard 200, which means they were also hits. People liked them very much. And then they went on to achieve a spot on the chart with its most recent album, Made, which was released just a few months ago in December 12th, 2016. And so here in the sentence chart, it's talking about the Billboard 200. It's sort of a chart is like a list showing the CDs that people buy a lot of copies of.
Yeah, which is where we get phrases like #1 single, because if you've been at #1 on the chart, you are a #1 single or a #1 album because you are top of the charts, something like that. So this recent album, Made, the songs on it, the next sentence says, the songs exemplify the band's broad musical styles. Okay, the word exemplify means to be a typical and also a very good example of something, and especially an example that shows the main qualities of that thing. So what we're saying is the songs on this album, they really show the band's broad musical styles. They show how different all the different songs they can do, all, fast songs, slow songs, hip-hop songs, sort of romantic songs. And it really does show their range, would be another way to say it. Just shows all the different types of music they can produce.
Right. And as K-pop goes, again, in my experience of learning about K-pop, they try to have very big ranges in their styles.
They want to be pretty versatile, which is another word we can use to describe. They don't want all the songs to sound too similar.
Right.
They want to keep changing up, showing new talents, new musical abilities, and so on.
Right. So some of these musical styles that are featured on this album, Made, include playful, futuristic hip-hop and stunning emotive tracks. So futuristic here is an adjective that describes something that's so modern it seems to belong to the future. All right. So maybe they're using instruments that have sort of a modern sound or kind of tracks with interesting beats.
Yeah, that kind of makes it seem like, wow, this is new. This seems like this is the sort of music that, spacemen would play.
Maybe we'll listen to in 30 years.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So that's their futuristic hip-hop song, Baby. And they've also got this some stunning emotive tracks, such as Let's Not Fall in Love and Last Dance. Something that is stunning, just kind of, it stuns you. It makes you kind of stop and listen and go, wow, that's really something. So it's a combination of, if you're stunned, you're surprised, you're amazed, you're basically stopped in your tracks. You stop whatever you're doing because something is so stunning.
Right. And they're also emotive. These two songs, Let's Not Fall in Love and Last Dance. Emotive is an adjective that makes you feel. It causes you to experience really strong emotions. So these might be their more romantic songs. It puts you in the mood for love. Emotive, maybe it could be other kind of feelings such as anger. So some emotive songs would be really angry. They make you want to change things.
Yeah, and not just the listener. An emotive song would also be one that allows the performer to express their emotions.
That's right.
Maybe in kind of playful hip-hop, they're just having a bit of fun, but an emotive track is going to really let them get that kind of their loneliness, their anger, their disappointment, their love, their joy, whatever it is, and let them sing it out. Okay, let's get into the final paragraph of the article. It says, these days, big changes lie ahead for the band.
Okay,
the oldest member of the group, T.O.P., has enlisted in South Korea's mandatory military service this year. So if you enlist, you join the army or the Air Force or the Navy. You join the armed services. And in South Korea, as in Taiwan for men of a certain age, I think there were plans to stop it. It's mandatory. They have to do it. Anything that's mandatory, you can't get out of. It's not optional, which is kind of the opposite of it. You have to do it. You just can't get out of it.
Right. And usually that's because it's part of a law or a rule from the government.
It's a rule. So here their rule is they have to do military service. They spend 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, 2 years, whatever it is, in the army, learning how to be a soldier just in case anything ever happens. They can then go back to doing their regular jobs, but they'll have had army training if they ever need to be called up. I mean, technically, South Korea is still at war with North Korea. So, it's kind of having people ready just in case.
Right. I believe that's also why it's mandatory.
Yes. It doesn't mean you have to become a soldier forever. It just means you have to serve in the army for a while, hence military service.
Right. Okay, well, it also says that some of the other members have launched solo projects. This solo here means that they're performing alone. They're just going out on their own. They're not having a band or anybody else with them. This is their own project. So maybe they're making their own albums. Just maybe, I'm not sure which one it is. Maybe G-Dragon wants to go off on his own. He doesn't want to be in the group anymore. Sorry if that's the wrong one.
Well, a thing is, a solo project, it won't all be one person. They will have maybe a producer making the music in the studio.
Yeah.
They might get in backing singers or musicians to provide their music. And they might have guest singers. He might get together with one of the other Big Bang singers for one song and one other singer for a different one, or another star from another group for a third. But basically, it's his album.
Right.
It's that person's particular project, and he gets to choose what kind of songs he's going to sing and he write the songs mostly himself.
Yes.
Okay, so they're going off to do their different things. The article then finishes by saying, however, Big Bang's catchy, crowd-pleasing songs have earned it a large following that will not soon forget its legacy. Okay. So their songs are catchy, they're very easy to pick up, they're easy to listen to and remember, they're crowd-pleasing, everybody loves them, and it's got the group a large following. That means they have a big fan base, they have many fans, lots of people buy their songs and go to their shows.
Right. And of course, with all of these great things for Big Bang, that means even if they don't keep making music in the future, no one will forget its legacy. So a legacy is something that someone has achieved in their lifetime and it continues to exist. People still remember that person for the work that they did, even if they're not working anymore or they've died.
Yeah, it's what you leave behind and the way that continues. People continue to enjoy it or use it or be affected by it in usually a good way. Could be a bad way, but we're mostly talking about leaving a good legacy for future generations to enjoy when you're gone.
Right.
So that brings us to the end of today's article. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. We hope you've learned a lot about Big Bang and their musical career.
Great.
For English Digest, I'm Pat.
And I'm Erin.
Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.